Hey, welcome to my presentation. Ever since the agriculture first invented thousands of years ago, people are really working their way, trying to have better tactics on how to grow the farm plants better and to increase the both quality and quantity of the farm produces. And this problem actually got partly solved when people find out that using natural fertilizer, such as humans and animals' wastes, are helping with these problems. But this problem actually got an even better solution when people find out that using chemical fertilizer increase the both quality and quantity of the farmer produces dramatically. Um, but along with that, people also find out and that's actually when where people starting to enjoy their chemical add-ons inside their food, and along with that, that's the reason. That's actually part of the reason that why I'm giving this presentation here today. And before I start everything, um, I want to talk about the reasons that why do I think um, actually the organic food, which uses barely even like actually nothing about the actually use none of the chemical fertilizers and pesticides, and why is organic food so much better than the non-organic food. To Here's the following three reasons are what I think about the topic. The first one, I want to talk about how the organic foods are better not using the chemical pesticide and chemical fertilizer. And then I'm going to talk about how the additives inside the foods are bad, which the organic food doesn't have any. Um, Finally, last but not the least, I'm going to talk about how organic foods are actually environment friendly. So to begin with, I want to introduce my actually farm a little bit. It's called Wong's, which is apparently my last name actually. Um, my farm actually provides some organic foods such as vegetable and fruits and stuff. And alright, again, that's just partly another reason that why I'm giving this presentation. So first of all, I want to talk about how the chemical products that are affecting how the farm produces are growing and everything. As we all know, along with the growing process of the growing process of the plants and crops and everything, um, pests are actually a very serious problem. They can actually totally destroy the produces or the plants totally and ruin pretty much everything. And to deal with this problem, some farmers decide to use the chemical pesticide to actually control the pests, and it's actually working very well, and it's actually very easy to use. You just simply spray everything inside the air and around the plants, and the pests will actually get cleaned pretty well actually. But there's a very serious problem along with this solution is that after it kills after it kills all the pests, it's actually got residues on the produce, and it's really hard to be cleaned out of the system. Even after you bought them from the supermarket and wash them with prep soap and everything, even after that, um, that's why my farm decided not to use chemical pesticides to control the pests. We use some other ways that harmless to both the produce and the human bodies. We decide to use, for example, I'm going to use apple, the example. We use a little transparent plastic bag to cover up the whole apple. That way, the pest cannot go anywhere near the apple, but the sunshine actually can go right through the bags, and the apple will get what it needs to grow, and not having the pest bother them. That's the actually an example of how we're dealing with these kind of problem without using the chemical stuff. And the other reason I want to talk about how the chemical stuff are hurting the producers are the fertilizers. Um, Even though people find out that the chemical fertilizer are actually helping the crops growing very well, however, it's got another problem, which is the hormone stuff that might be kind of hurting people and children's body. For example, I've actually heard a story about how a little girl who's got actually precocious and her body like grow real fast, and it's kind of not the normal way. Her breasts actually got growing at the age of 4. That's just like kind of creepy to me, I think. And uh, also, since our farm decided not to use the chemical fertilizer, we use 100% all natural fertilizers such as human and animals wastes, and that way it doesn't have any sorts of hormone or anything that's inside the producers. And then I'm going to talk about the I want to talk about the additives for the producers. Some of the farm decide to use the additives to either inject or any other ways to use them on the producers. For example, fruits, they might look bigger or looks better, but they actually taste like nothing. Some people might say wax or something, and it just tastes so weird and unrealistic. But with our 100% natural fertilizer and not using additives, the fruits that we provide actually tastes like the real thing, the real deal, and it's not like the weird sweeter way or some stuff like that. It's actually more natural and realistic, like the real thing. And another thing about the additives, I want to talk about the store time stuff. People use additives to help the fruits, for example, to preserve a little longer, such as, for example, they use a layer of wax to cover on the surface of the apple. That way, the apple won't go bad for like maybe even a couple of days of longer, or even more than that. That way, the store time is longer, So the farmers are able to actually send them to anywhere around the world or anything. But with the non-additives added organic food we provided, we only serve actually the local community, and because we don't have the additives to at the store time and make it longer, we don't really have the ability to ship them away from like far away to another place. And that's actually going to be less chemical residues inside your body. We don't have additives. Last but not least, I'd like to talk about the environment friendly. As we all know, for those of you who don't know, the chemical fertilizer actually hurts the soil, and it makes the soil become like harder and holds the water like less and less water, and becomes like sand. And over the time, it will finally become a desert. That's how the word desertization first appeared. And that's actually not very good for the environment. But with the organic farm like us, we use natural fertilizers like waste and stuff that won't actually hurt the environment and everything. That way, we're actually helping to preserve the environment. And another reason I want to talk about the environment friendly is that we because we're using the natural waste, natural human animal wastes to as the fertilizer, we're actually helping the local community to deal with the waste disposal problem. It's kind of like helping the local community to like doing efforts actually, and that's the three reasons that why I believe that the organic foods are actually better than the non-organic food like that uses chemical stuff and add-on stuff, additives, and they actually hurt the environment. So here's the deal I'm actually providing to you guys. If you actually sign the contract with us, and I'm gonna give a discount for the 5-10 people who are actually signing the contract with us, and the discount is gonna be huge. I'm not gonna lie, but it's a pretty good deal. If you wanna do it, actually do it now, and we're gonna provide some gifts along with the deals as well. So, like now.